The people that are screaming the loudest, Sean, are probably the people that are pissed off because their money train has come to an end. We're done now. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Maxine. Sorry, Nancy, with your stock trades. The show's over.
Trump slaps Letitia James and Alvin Bragg by removing their security clearance. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. You found it. Thanks for watching. I do have two other clips that involve Alina Habba talking about the government, Democrats having complete conniptions over the USAID oversight, the investigation by DOGE.
3 weeks of utter shock, awe, and transformation in Washington, and it has gone at the speed of light. And, you know, thank God for the country. And then you got this freak out. What do you make of it?
I'm not sure what they're freaking out about, to be honest, Sean. I'm pretty sure we stood at rally after rally and said exactly what we were going to do. We were going to protect taxpayer dollars. We were going to help educate our children in the right way who are undereducated. So, Maxine, I'm not sure what you're stepping into, but you need to move out of the way. And we're going to create DOGE. We did. And DOGE is working. So I have to tell you, I know Elon, and I'm a little bit frustrated, not a little bit, but by what I'm hearing. But the people that are screaming the loudest, Sean, are probably the people that are pissed off because their money train has come to an end. We're done now. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Maxine. Sorry, Nancy, with your stock trades. The show's over. We are now looking, and we're going to audit, and we're going to find out what's going on, and we're finding a lot. We've named them over and over again. And by the way, the list is extensive. Operas for transgender LGBTQ people. We're funding condoms. We're funding, things that are unheard of. One was teaching people how to use their pronouns in another country. We spent millions of dollars. This is absurd. We are supposed to take care of taxpayer dollars. And what the last administration did was get rich and waste money. And I'm tired of it.
Legendary reform is what we're talking about. I'm giving you this for kind of the back data of where we're going. I got another clip for you here. This is a new one.
USAID, which has been under all of this scrutiny, they're going to cut the staffing from 14,000 down to 294 people over at USAID. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's very consistent after what we've learned. Look at what we learned with Politico, 8.1 million going to Politico, who funded ridiculous stories, hoax stories, witch hunt stories during an election. To me, sounds like election interference that was being funded by the Biden administration's USAID. I can tell you the craziest things I have ever heard, Rob. I literally wrote them down because I want to get them right, because the American people will be shocked when you understand what we are seeing. 6 million funding to Egypt for tourism, 7.9 million to Sri Lanka so that they know how to properly state their gender pronouns. These are the numbers that we're seeing coming in. 4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and we've heard about all of the other things. So Rubio is doing something consistent with what our administration is, as I suspected. He's been great, as has DOGE. When you're not funding ridiculous things, you don't need thousands of employees on taxpayer dollars on payroll, because we're not going to spend money that way anymore. We're going to be responsible with the obligations and the responsibility that we've been given.
Democrats have yet to make their case against DOGE with using anything reasonable. And by reasonable, I just mean simple evidence of this is why it's bad to pay, this is why we really, really need to pay for teaching Sri Lankans how to use pronouns. They can't give a reason, so all they can do is generically have a giant tantrum and just go, you can't do this, you're starving the children. And no one wants to starve children. That's the DOGE reforms on USAID is not about removing food out of kids' mouths. It's removing all the other garbage so that you can properly pay for what really needs to be done for much less money. The problem is, to liberals, they see it as just as important to put food in a kid's mouth in another country who's starving as to teach Sri Lankans proper pronouns and to do all these other weird buying condom stuff. That's just as much a part of their religion. Now for the big news. Is Trump pulling that security clearance on Letitia James and Alvin Bragg? This is our second Letitia James video today. Let's go here. Trump stripping the security clearances of numerous antagonists, including New York AG Letitia James and DA Alvin Bragg. This is his pushback on her suing him earlier And Trump's going to get the last word, I guarantee it. President Trump has ordered security clearances stripped from a new list of antagonists just days after revoking Joe Biden's access to classified information and secure federal buildings because I don't trust him, Trump said. His new target is ex-Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. That's the guy that screwed up all of the Middle East, and the guy that China went in and just walked all over and embarrassed, who orchestrated the Dirty 51 letter from former intelligence officials on the eve of the 2020 election. And that was also, that letter was verified by Politico. Politico's the one that leaked it. They're also saying, which was paid for by USAID. They also say that Politico is probably the one that leaked the reversal of Roe v. Wade decision, where everyone was going like, which Supreme Court justice leaked that? Whoever leaked it, they sent it to Politico to get it out to the public. The infamous missive falsely claimed that Hunter Biden's laptop, the contents of which the Post revealed was Russian disinformation. Blinken's secretary clearances will be revoked following the same presidential directive aimed at Biden and 51 ex-spooks last week. Trump told the Post in his exclusive interview, "Bad guy, take away his passes," Trump said of Blinken. Bad guy, take away his passes. So I love how he talks like a caveman. This is to take away every right they have, revoking security clearances, including that they can't go into federal buildings. So Letitia James tried taking Trump Tower, and Trump took away federal buildings from Letitia James. New York Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg joined the new group of 8 Democrat foes Trump plans to punish by revoking any access to classified information and barring their entry to federal facilities. The president said they will be given exactly the same punishment as Biden and the Dirty 51 as part of his administration's vow to hold government officials accountable for actions he regards as election interference or the mishandling of classified information. Bragg prosecuted Trump last year in the so-called hush money case, and James brought a civil fraud case against the president for supposedly exaggerating his wealth when applying for bank loans. The move is regarded as more symbolic than consequential for the New York lawfare duo, although I doubt that because they wrote this before they knew that Letitia James was launching a new lawsuit against Trump for his allowing the Doge boys, Elon Musk's Doge guys, to have access to Treasury documents. But it could hamper them in carrying out their official duties by prohibiting them from entering courthouses, prisons, and law enforcement facilities in Foley Square in Lower Manhattan, including the Thurgood Marshall and the Daniel Patrick Moynihan courthouses, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, and the Jacob Javits Federal Building, which houses the FBI's New York field office. They also will not be able to set foot in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern and Eastern Districts of New York in Manhattan and Brooklyn. It's more an insult and a slap than a real deterrent, said Attorney Bob Costello, a former Manhattan federal prosecutor who testified in defense witness in Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan. Still, it's good news. The other targets Trump disclosed to the Post include Biden's former national security advisor, Jake Sullivan. He's another dirty guy, who also was chief foreign policy advisor to Hillary Clinton during her failed 2016 presidential bid when he notoriously helped foment the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. I mean, he should have had that pulled last time. Also in Trump's sights are Biden's deputy attorney general, Lisa Monaco, who was involved in overseeing lawfare investigations against Trump and coordinating the DOGE response to J6. She also helped organize the Russia hoax while working as an aide to President Obama. Never forget, Obama's the one behind that. Next in the rare anti-Trumpers, Andrew Weissman, the lead prosecutor in the special counsel Robert Mueller's Russiagate investigation of Trump, who frequently maligns the former president in his role as an MSNBC contributor. Lawyer Mark Zaid, who represented Eric Chiaramella, the CIA analyst identified as the whistleblower in Trump's impeachment in 2019 over a phone call with the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky and Norm Eisen, special counsel to the Democrat head House Judiciary Commission. This is just Trump getting back at all of the legal prosecution that they went against him. But all these names we've already covered in the past. He's taken away all their clearances. It'll be much harder for them to investigate and gather materials in case they want to try any new shenanigans. But mostly Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, they're going to have a hard time walking onto some of their federal courtrooms thanks to Trump, and we approve of that. I'm Doug in exile.